everyone, and welcome to the day one review of the five-star Grand Prix 2024 here on my YouTube channel. I'm very excited to dive into these. There will be at least 11 of these. I know there's one day with double shows. We'll probably double up and talk about both of them in one video, but I'm very excited. Thank you for joining me. If you're listening now, if you're listening moving forward, if you're listening way down the line, I very much appreciate it. Before we get into the show itself, which of course happened on Saturday, August 10th, I'll ask you to follow me at Scott E Wrestling if you don't already. You can see it right there on the screen. You can also check out my podcast, whether it be the Gold Star podcast on the Wrestle Purist YouTube channel. You can check out the 5-Star Joshi Show, which is a weekly podcast with me talking about Joshi. I do that on the Fight Game Media Network. You check out so much more of my work if there's anything going on by following me at Scott E Wrestling. So thank you so much for that. But let's get into it, right? This is the beginning of the 2024 5-Star Grand Prix, the biggest and best women's wrestling tournament in the world. A brand new format put forth this year, obviously with the expected schedule changes, as was heavily talked about last year, right? With all the injuries and the tournament lasting, nearly, what was it, 3 months or so. The tournament was dramatically changed this year. Obviously, a new regime running Stardom as well, and now under the New Japan banner completely. So, what would this tournament look like this year? Ultimately, it would be broken down into 4 blocks with 7 people in each block. And the opening night would feature 12 tournament matches. Some of them very quick, some of them not so quick. It's an interesting conversation to have. And I think the first night kind of gave us a great look into you can't really expect anything, right? We're still learning what a Taro Okada booked promotion is, and that especially comes in the tournament, right? The tournament is one of the toughest things to book in wrestling. There's just so many moving parts. You need to make sure all the points add up by the end, and so on and so forth. And night one, if anything, gave us a completely different look than I think anyone would have ever expected. But with the 5-Star Grand Prix, I think comes one of the most exciting times of the year. It is something that I love, and it's why I'm doing these recordings each and every day of the tournament over the next 21 days. So I hope you enjoy them. We have 3 straight days of shows, so there's going to be a lot of recording, but I'm locked in. I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to talk about day one. So day one of this tournament, of course, saw a lot going on, right? We saw obviously the main event, as you could see in the middle. It was Tam Nakano versus Mayu Iwatani, and we'll get to that. But we're gonna review every single match, and the goals of these reviews are to stay, within 20 minutes or so. I wanted to give quick thoughts on this tournament and keep people informed and let people know how I'm feeling about the tournament, because ultimately I love these tournaments. So hopefully this is of interest to you, and we will get right into it with the first match on the card of the pay-per-view. It was Saori Anou versus AEW's Anna Jay. And I think the expectations going into this tournament for Anna Jay are, we want to see you improve. That's been my takeaway since the moment she was announced for this tournament. I think anyone that doesn't want to see someone like her improve, someone like her who's been in wrestling for 4 years and doesn't always get the necessary time needed in AEW to, I think, grow beyond what she is currently. Um, this is a huge opportunity for her. And truthfully, not just based off of the first night, but moving forward, I don't think it should just end after the 21-day run. Like, keep her over there for the 3-month span that most international stars head over for. I think if you did that, right, you have the 5-star and you have her just do house shows for the 2 months after. She's gonna come back a lot better overall, but I think she's gonna come back improved after this tournament because I thought this match was a really strong start to the tournament. My expectations going into this was like, okay, how are they gonna click? They've never wrestled before. Obviously, there's the language part of it. What is their match going to look like? And it wasn't long, like this, right? This didn't need to be long, and it wasn't like it knew what it needed to be. It was 5 minutes, and these two did again exactly what they were expected to do, and I think that's why this match delivered more than certain matches. Like, it's not better than, a lot of matches necessarily on this card. But one, it's really good for what we're going for, right? It hit all the marks in the 5 minutes. Anna Jay showed that this can be a pretty strong tournament for her. And of course, she got the big shock win, which I had predicted. I expected that to happen. 5 minutes and 31 seconds, like I said, not a long match, but she took the brunt of Saori's offense, right, including two tough suplexes on top of her head, rolled through. And I think ultimately, like, you watch this and you're like, okay, let's see how this goes. Saori, obviously one of the better wrestlers in the block, and this is not a long match, but you go with the opening night upset, right? You have Anna Jay pin the former two-time Wonder Stardom champion. Now she doesn't need to like win. Like, you got the big win out of the way. Um, but at the same time, you establish her as like, okay, this is a threat. This is someone that can get wins. Again, it wasn't a blowaway match or anything, but it's a match that you walk away from like, okay, this is good. This is what we want to see from Anna Jay. And that was really my takeaway from it, which I think is maybe the best takeaway. And I can't wait to see where she is in her final match, right? Because I think she is going to make some really good strides as a part of the 5-star Grand Prix. Next up, we have Konami versus Ruaka in the Red Stars A block. Um, I didn't know what to expect heading into this match. I don't know if anyone else felt that way. Just because like we're learning what hate is, right? We're learning what hate's going to be. And seeing them face off, are they going to just do shenanigans and that's it? Are they just going to wrestle? Like, I didn't know. And ultimately, like, they did a little bit of both. And I walked away like, having fun with this match. Like, they both teased cheating. I mean, to the point where Konami did cheat. She used the spray paint and sprayed Ruaka in the face. That you know almost gave her the win right off the bat. Then Ruaka uses the box that she's had forever. Also, her nickname being the Violent Freezer is insane to me, but it's very funny. So, shout out to the Violent Freezer Ruaka. Um, yeah, but this match, it accomplished what it set out to do, and that was get Konami 2 points, let Ruaka look relatively good in her first match, and we'll see what it becomes afterward. But we'll talk about hate more and more as this recording and these series goes on. Next up, we had Xena versus Miu Amasaki in the best way you do an upset. This match, listen, for a match that went all of 2 minutes and 15 seconds, this packed the punch you wanted in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Miyu Amasaki's awesome. Like, if you listen to the 5-star Joshi show, uh, I've been saying it all year. I I always believed she could be such a good, talented wrestler. And you watch her in this match with Xena, and listen, it wasn't long. Xena's freaking awesome too. Like, don't get me wrong. I thought she actually looked really good in the 2 minutes they wrestled here. She hit the backbreaker from the top that front. She dropped her on her knees, and that looked brutal. But ultimately, Miyu was able to get the win with her flash pin. and shock everyone. You know, it was a great shock victory early on, and I have no problem with it. I thought the match was relatively strong for what it was. And it's these types of moments, these types of shock upsets that make a great tournament. So again, had no problem with this. You have two big upsets in the first three matches. And it wasn't the last. It was not the last in terms of upsets. Next up, we had Saki Kashima and Ranna Yagami. And speaking of upsets, Ranna Yagami was able to steal the win on Saki Kashima. This match was all about Saki Kashima presenting or promoting the game or whatever that she's sponsored by. That was the basis of the match. And ultimately, Ranna was supposed to be facing Saya Kamitani on night one once upon a time because Ami Sourei had been. But the schedule was altered. She got moved into a match with her God's Eye stablemate, and it was all about the upset once again. I think this match, in terms of like quality, was probably the second lowest, truthfully, because it was really just about the sponsorship. So, you know, it got a couple chuckles and a couple laughs. It was 3 minutes and 30 seconds, like nothing crazy, right? But I think it again did what it needed to do. I think Rana's new gear is great. I think that was kind of my big takeaway from this match. Like, she looks like a new wrestler, and you know, you're watching a rookie really level up. She's not even a year in. She's in the 5-star Grand Prix. Things could be worse, and like, you know, she's someone that I think is going to be a future main event star for Stardom. So I'm perfectly fine with her getting a win, and I honestly don't think it should be her last, but we'll see how that goes. Then we had Hanan versus Suzuki, a match that I obviously was amped up for. If you know me, if you hear me talk, if you hear me tweet, if you see me tweet, you know how much I love these two wrestlers. And this was, in terms of my expectations, maybe the most disappointing match of the night. Um, they didn't fully click. I don't think the work was bad, because they're just good wrestlers, right? They're good wrestlers. Even if we're not fully clicking in the ring, it's going to be relatively good. But they just didn't bring the interesting match that I knew they could. And them being so early on the card felt like a almost a worrisome moment for me, because I was like, "Oh, no, like, is this not gonna go on?" It waited 8 minutes and 56 seconds, and, that, mind you, ended in a double countout. I was very upset when this match was over. I was like, "Man," you know, because I'm not gonna do the whole, like, "Oh, well, you know, in previous 5 stars, this could have been one of the great matches early on." But to me, this was the best matchup in Blue Stars B, and when this match isn't hitting like it should, that's highly unfortunate. I thought Hanan had the better showing here. I don't think Suzu has gotten rid of the rust yet that, you know, she had when she was out with injury. I think that's very clear, very apparent watching this, and I hope she does soon because, man, Suzu last year obviously won the 5-star Grand Prix, and she was such a special wrestler these past couple of years. I need her to get back to that. I know she's in Neo Genesis now, and she's kind of settled into this weird spot. I almost look at the match with Risa Sera as a match to wake her up in many ways, and that is now the match I look forward to on this 5-star Grand Prix block, the Blue Stars B block, and think, okay, that can be the match of this block, because I don't know necessarily what else has that potential. Um, I guess Suzu and Saya Kamitani or Hanan. I think Hanan and Saya Kamitani could work better than most matchups for Saya because of the super baby face that Hanan is. But man, this was my letdown of the night. I don't think it was the worst match of the night, but absolutely the letdown of the night because of where my expectations were heading in. Which, you know, it is what it is. But I really thought this match was gonna be great, and it was just fine at best, and a double countout's just never an exciting finish. As you can see here, they did fight after the bell. There was a, you know, a little bit of tension and anger. I think the idea that, Hanan can't stand both of Crazy Star. Obviously, the rivalry between Hanan and Mei Seira is great. I think that's kind of funny. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes us. Then we had Hazuki versus Manami in the Red Stars A block. I feel like this is where the show kicked into that next gear. It shouldn't come as a shock, right? This is Hazuki, after all. It's what she does, and I've been saying like Manami's gonna make fans in this tournament, and that's exactly what I think she did in this match. Like this match is very strong for the idea they were going for, especially compared to everything else. Up until this point, this was the best match on the show. I don't think that's much of a question. They went 9 minutes and 8 seconds, and man, just like Hazuki, if I was running a pro wrestling company, I'd make her my world champion. She is everything you want in a world champion. She's a star who brings it every single match and more often than not steals the show. I don't think her and Manami necessarily stole the show, but they had a very strong outing on a night where I think other matches and other big time matches missed the mark. I think over I think they outworked the likes of, say, Maika versus Natsupoi, which we'll talk about later. They definitely outworked Hana and Suzuki. So that's a credit to both Hazuki and Manami. I don't want to just give the credit to Hazuki. I think that would be wrong. Obviously, Hazuki is the one that makes up the match, but I think Manami is such a talent that as this tournament goes on, you're gonna watch her stock go up more and more and more. Sendai Girls teaches them well. There was a great point in this match where it looked like the match was over and Manami grabs the bottom rope, and the way the camera was shooting it, you wouldn't have thought she was close enough to do that. That was a great near fall. Ultimately, Hazuki wins with the diving senton bomb. So good match here, and this is where we kicked into the next gear. 5-star Grand Prix feeling next gear. And that, of course, brings us to Mei Seira versus Tomoka Inaba in the Red Stars B block. And we all know, right? We're all waiting around. On the Gold Star podcast this past Friday, I said that this is actually the Gold Star block. Like Red Stars B is the Gold Star block. And when I say that, obviously it's like, joke for the podcast, but it's at the same time, this is the golden block. Like Red Stars B, there's not a bad matchup, right? There's not a matchup you look at and you're like, yeah, like everything gives you hope, everything gives you interest. And I talked about in the million previews I did, whether it was Stardom Quest, 5-star dress show, Gold Star, my written one on voicesofwrestling.com. This match could stand out because it's so unique, right? It's so different. It's new. The styles between these two may not mesh, but at the same time, they may work well together. And while I didn't expect this match to be the 15-minute time limit of the night, um, I thought they crushed it. I really did. I think the only thing hurting this from going from very good to great is going the limit. I think Tomoka and Sera benefit from like what the skill set and what the match was created because they had built up a really well done match. They both did techers. They both worked on each other's legs. Right for Sera, she's trying to limit Inaba's power in her kicks, which are her biggest threat. While Inaba is trying to limit Mei Sera's speed. And ultimately, in the end, there was this great submission hold. I believe Inaba had her in it looked like a heel hook leg bar type uh move that it really looked like Mei Seira was not going to make it. Like the struggle was great. And ultimately it's why the 15 minutes to me wasn't too bad. I think I think when you look at it and you think of like what do I want from these two? I want that struggle. Like they're making this tournament match feel important. And I think that's very, very important for these two who are young and hungry. This is their first tournament. They made this match feel like the most important match they've ever wrestled. Sera mixing in her speed and great uh agility, hitting her crazy drop kicks, while Inaba, in seconds can turn the tide with a kick. I think it was a great meshing of styles, one of the better matches of the night, truthfully. Like, I think when you look at it and you think about, like, what is the best that they can be, I think that this is it. I really do. I think this was the best match they could put together without a finish happening, and I wanna see these 2 wrestle again. You have a high-speed championship, you have the, JTO Girls Championship. There's no reason we can't have a title match, so give it to me. This was a great, great match here. Really enjoyed this one. I think it was just an edge off of being great. As you can see here, these 2, they beat the crap out of each other. I really love these 2. I think they're 2 of the best young stars in wrestling, and they really showcased it here. Going the full draw, it's a taxing ask, but I thought they did a good job. And then we had Syuri versus Starlight Kid, which frankly, I thought this was the second best match of the night. You can forget, when we're not locked into tournament season, Shuri's the best. If she's not the best, she is number 2, but I think she's the best. She's the best 5-star Grand Prix wrestler ever. Uh, every year the tournament comes around, every year Shuri shows up, especially on night 1 last year, it was Syuri and Suzuki. Um, this year, it's Syuri and Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid, my God, I'm so happy she's a babyface again. She is great, man. Like, she's so, so good. She really is. She is such a super talented wrestler who is now back in the most reasonable and comfortable spot possible, right? This is her at her best. Her at her best is a babyface struggling, trying to beat the superstar. And Shuri is so good at she's not being a heel, she's just being the, main event final boss type wrestler that you need to learn to overcome. And the attacking of the leg here on Starlight Kid and putting in the stretch muffler and working that, right? That was such a great story in this match. And when she got it toward at the end of the match, and you could just see, like, oh no, like, you could, as a viewer, and mind you, I'm watching this with, like, almost no sleep in 24 hours, but I'm so locked in. I'm so interested in how this is gonna end, right? You're watching Starlight Kid struggle, and as Shuri is about to put her leg over and trap Starlight Kid in the hold, right? I think back to the match at Stardom World Climax 2022, um, between Mayu and Shuri. This was the end of that match, right? Mayu didn't have enough, but Starlight Kid had to tap, right? This is match 1 of the tournament. You're now telling a story. She needs to tap. Like, her legs getting destroyed. She gave it everything she could. She had the Momo latch. She hit the moonsault. She just couldn't get that final blow to take out Shuri, and not many people ever can. I think Shuri should be a lock to advance out of this block, and truthfully, I think Starlight Kid should be too. Um, it's time to push Starlight Kid, and you watch her have a performance like this, and you're like, she's so ready. She is so ready, and I thought she had a great match here. I thought Shuri, again, was absolutely dynamite. She's just still one of the best in the world comfortably. This was a hot start for the tournament. Like I said, I think second best match of the night. Shuri getting the win on the uh tap out from Starlight Kid. And it's funny, they both had this new gear. They looked like they were tag team partners. I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be against it. But in all seriousness, a great, great match. I really like this. But speaking of really liking a match, Azumi versus Momo Watanabe. Obviously, these two's history goes a long, long, long way. They've been around for years now. They have been part of Stardom's establishment for both of them, just forever. Um, Queen's Quest together, Momo Oz, the whole shebang. But when they go one on one, it's very different. Heading into this match, Momo Watanabe was a stunning 8-1-1 against the high-speed bomb girl. And by the end of this, she had no answer. Azumi is on Azumi's the best she's ever been. I don't think Momo's the best she's ever been. I know she's not. I've seen that last year with Queen's Quest, and I've seen the peak run. I don't think this is the best Momo's ever been, but Momo's still a fantastic pro wrestler. And they did one little cheat thing with hate that didn't bother me whatsoever. And that's really that's what we're feeling through this tournament. I was worried, openly worried about what's hate gonna look like, right? It didn't look that like if this is it, and again the Sai Kamitani match had a little bit more too. But if this is it, like in terms of the interference, I can live with that. Because these two went out there and wrestled a very, very good match. They just click. They just do. Like there is the natural chemistry there that Momo has with a few wrestlers in this company, Azumi being one of them. And the finish of Azumi hitting a top rope avalanche destroyer on Momo and then getting the Azumi Sushi for the win was awesome. Like it was so well done, so good, exactly what you want to see for Azumi, who I think again is one of the wrestlers that should be getting pushed moving forward. Like Momo Watanabe is going to be fine. She's probably going to beat Tam or Mayu at least, plus the others. I'm not worried about her. Giving Azumi the big upset win, I think, is a great move. And the match, again, was really, really strong. One of the better matches of the night. We hit a great stride here. And I was really locked in. And then the next match, you know, it changed the course a little bit. We had Risa Sera versus Saya Kamitani. Obviously, Saya Kamitani, she debuted her new look as a heel, and the entrance, the gear, the coat, having the Phoenix Queen flag replace the Queen's Quest flag, aesthetically awesome. Entrance theme, awesome. Um, Presentation overall is just really, really great. But the problem now is making the wrestling for her, someone who is a big bombs, exciting offense wrestler, work in a heel setting. And I don't think this match came close to hitting it. They also were off multiple times. They did the weird chair spot where, Saya's pulling the chairs out of under the ring aggressively and throwing them on the ground, and they go for a big spot. It's just a hurricanrana through it. And then Risa Sera throws the chairs into the ring. And then they do this weird spot where it's like the idea is Saya Kamitani outsmarted her almost and wants Risa Sera to hit her to like get disqualified with one of the chairs. And like Barb Sasaki just keeps taking the chairs away from Risa Sera until Risa Sera hits her with the last chair, and then just nothing happens. I was like, what, huh? Why? I didn't think going into this that Risa Sera made much sense as the first opponent for the new Phoenix Queen, Saya Kamitani. Like, it just didn't make sense of like, oh, this is the wrestler. Because, like, the Stardom crowd, they're not going to care that much about Kamitani healing it up on Risa Sera. It's just the truth. So that's part of it. And the other part is I just think like Saya's really gonna have a tough time figuring this out. Uh, a lot of it was just the theatrics and the many, 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 many like faces she'd make to the crowd and to the camera, right? She just keep pulling the eye thing down and like doing the neck like it just didn't work, and the match was not good. I don't think that's just a Saya Kamitani fault either. These two did not mesh whatsoever. And the botched finish did not help it. Saya Kamitani, who wins with the pop-up Ranna all the time, once again won, but it just didn't look pretty. So she did get the win. She does get her first win now as the Phoenix Queen, and we'll see how this goes. I'm not counting out Saya Kamitani because the aesthetic and the look is good. I think the look is good overall, especially the entrance look. Um, but a lot remains to be seen because this match I thought did flop. I thought it was the worst of the show. Um, but I hope for her, I hope for Stardom, she does figure it out. And like I said, it wasn't gonna happen day one, right? This is it someone who has an entire Wonder of Stardom title reign under her belt that she is like one of the biggest baby faces and hits all these super moves. A lot is gonna happen until a lot has to happen until we get to the point where she's comfortable doing this. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely a letdown of a match here, but kind of expected. And then we had Natsupoi versus Maika, the Red Stars A main event. Maika looks like Utami Hayashishita. New hairdo, new gear, new look over. I was like, it was almost distracting watching Maika. I don't think the look's bad. I think the look is good. It gave off Utami vibes, and we know with the Saya Kamitani story, Maika has been made to be the Utami replacement for Saya, so it's odd. Um, this match was kind of odd too. It wasn't bad by any means. It was good. It was it was fine, good match. It was kind of it didn't get to the levels that I know the Natsupois can do, the Micas can do. Right, they're two of the best wrestlers in the company, and it was just a lot of working the injured elbow of Micah. There was at one point where Micah dumped Natsupoi to the outside with I think it was a gorilla press. She just threw her out there. It looked like Natsupoi landed hard on her knee. Um, so that was entertaining. But my feeling about overall about this match is that it could have been so much better. Like they were doing like these moments of like it was like Tam-esque, right? Where they like, Natsupoi would hit a lariat and then stare at Micah and they'd stare at each other. I'm like, I know this is your first match ever, but like it's been a long time since you guys been together in DDM. So like I don't know if this makes as much sense right now, and I just wanted a great match. And there were some great moments, right? Natsupoi getting the armbar off the top rope was great. I thought that looked really good, and the struggle of the armbar was good because, right, you have Micah there again, elbows all taped up. We know it's rough right now, and that's going to be the story of her tournament. Will that be what limits her? So I think that was the good basis of this match, but ultimately, like, it just didn't pack the excitement that a Natsupoi match or even a Maika world title match that we've seen recently carries. And this was, the second biggest letdown for me, and it was better than Hanan and Suzuki. But I expected this to be one of the, if not the best matches of the show. So it didn't come close to that, but Micah did get the win with a roll up. I don't know if I almost would have had the Wonder of Stardom champion win um on night one, but tomatoes. It doesn't, the winner didn't matter that much for me in this match. But where the winner did matter for me is the next match and your main event. It was Mayu Iwatani versus Tam Nakano. Red Stars B block. Obviously, tons of history going into this match. Mayu Iwatani is a strong 3-0-3 against her former protege, former Stars member turned Cosmic Angel, Tam. These two, they stole the show, and it was absolutely the right main event. Tam having the new bob haircut, um, looks good. I think she looks good, and I thought she freaking had a great night. I really do. Like, obviously, I'm gonna praise Mayu. If you know me, Mayu's the greatest of all time, and I've felt that way for years now. She's my favorite wrestler of all time. I have all the belief in her, but her and Tam just click, man. Last year and this year, two great tournament matches. I don't know if this match will hold up as the match of the tournament because I think last year it was really strong, and between that and a few other matches, I don't think this will, but boy oh boy does it have a great chance to do so, just because there's so many great matchups throughout this tournament, obviously. But this was awesome. Mayu is a freaking legend when it comes to being the dominant one in a match, and obviously the story coming into this match is Tam's knee is injured, and Mayu heavily attacked that knee. And they hit at one point there was a dragon screw off the apron where Tam, I think, smashed her hip into the apron as well while crushing down onto her knee onto the floor. It was gnarly, it was nasty, it was great. It was great. And these two trade near falls when they get back into the ring. Mayu's just amazing. They're trading kicks, they're trading suplexes. Um, Mayu hits the moonsault, a great kick out. Tam just had that fighting spirit, man. She was not going to give up because listen, Tam is winning this tournament, and I don't think anyone else should. Based off this match, based off her natural story, I don't think anyone else should win the 5-star Grand Prix. And putting her on the back end now, right? Mayu was able to win with the two-step dragon is the right move. It's the natural move for someone like a Tam because of just her natural story, right? Her knee is going to be a story this whole time. Can she overcome it? She hit some nasty violet shooting knees to Mayu that made me pop out of my chair. They were great. Uh, at one point, Tam hit so many suplexes and dropped Mayu so far on her head that the pin wasn't working for a second, and she readjusted. It was a good near fall. But like I said, ultimately Mayu put this one away, hits the two-step suplex, as she often does, and gets the win. She's the greatest of all time, man. She's the greatest of all time. It's just not even close. Like, this is the best wrestler I've ever seen. She is so special, and her and Tam absolutely stole the show on this show. If you're looking for great matches, this is it. Like, this is the one you watch. So thank you, like, for this match. Thank you for making this the main event. Mayu winning does create a different, an exciting curveball. Um, because obviously I think the idea is not my Tam wants the IWGP, and I think she'll eventually get it. I just don't know how we get there. And I didn't want Tam to win. And right, there is a history here, and I appreciate Taro Okada playing off that history. It almost felt like these two just are booking their own series and have been for years now, because that big Tam win needs to come in the biggest match humanly possible, right? She is now 0-4-3 against Mayu Iwatani. That win's gonna come, and it's gonna come in the next, I don't know, 6-7 months, because that IWGP title makes a lot of sense on Tam as well. Maybe she wins the tournament challenges for that. We don't know. Um, but I thought this match was freaking awesome. It's why we watched the 5-star Grand Prix. If you didn't watch it, watch it. If you did watch it again. But it was awesome. Match of the night, going to be the match of the tournament for I don't know how long, because the tournament is very quick. Maybe until Corkin, though. I thought this was great, but this is why we watch the 5-star. So before we get out of here, I do want to show everyone my match ratings here. This is my system that I have to determine the MVP and match of the tournament. As you can see here, we have averages at the end. And then we have quarterfinals, block final, and finals for anyone that advances outside of the 7-match stage. They actually have 6 matches. So I'm just going to delete that now. But they have 6 matches plus quarterfinals, block finals, finals, and the average, like I said. So, on the opening night, as you can see, my match ratings here. Mayu and Tam taking the lead heavily early on. Just an excellent matchup. This will be reviewed each and every time as I record this. I will show this on the screen, um, because I think it's important. I like to determine the MVP the correct way, which is who just has the strongest tournament. Syuri always is a contender, right? Syuri still has matchups with Saori, Anou, Xena, Koguma, Anna Jay, and Miu Amasaki. I think she can have a really great tournament. Obviously, Mayu and Tam both get to face Momo Watanabe, Azumi, Sera, Saida, and Tomoka Inaba. So that should be great as well. I'm really excited for what this tournament is going to bring us. I think so many people are locked in, and I think so many others haven't fully uh, shown their best yet. And I think ultimately, in the end, we will see them show their best because that's what this tournament's all about. I'm excited for Unimon's debut. I'm excited for Saida's debut. Those both come on the Sunday show, which I again will be reviewing. I'm reviewing each and every show. So subscribe to the channel now if you don't already. Please subscribe. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited for what this tournament is starting to be. I don't think that, like, I think we've had better night ones the past couple years. Um, but it's still the 5-star Grand Prix. It was a lot of matches on night one. Like, you had to pack in a lot. You had to do some speedy finishes. Now on the nights where we get singular, 6 matches, I'm excited to see what those look like and how those turn out. Because ultimately, this is only a 15-minute time limit. It's not that long. You can go the distance or longer with a lot of these matches. So I can't wait. This is the look after match number one, after show number one. I'll be back tomorrow on Sunday with a review of the day 2 of the 5-star Grand Prix, which is all Red Stars block matches. Should be a lot of fun. Like I said, make sure to subscribe if you don't already. Make sure to also leave a comment, leave a review. Let me know how this works. Do you enjoy this format? Do you enjoy the daily reviews? Listen, my goal is to keep it under 20 on the days that we don't have 12 matches to review, and I think that'll be a success. Today we went a little bit long. It's the opening night, but the opening night deserved it. If you didn't watch it, watch it. Watch Mayu versus Tam. Watch Azumi versus Momo. Watch Syuri versus Starlight Kid, like I said, second best match of the night. Watch Inaba versus Sera. I thought all 4 of those were really good, if not great, if not awesome. Um, but that's the 5-star Grand Prix, baby. We are so locked in. We are so back. I'm so ready to keep reviewing this. So thank you to everyone for listening. And until next time, see ya.